Hello, my name's Chris, and I'm the founder of Luki Bike Adventures. And over the last 2 months or so, we've been able to collect around 50 bikes or so. Most of them, well, all of them need a lot of work. Most of them were free. They were donated, or we found them in a dumpster, or we saw them got some like on Facebook Marketplace, super cheap or free, things like that. And like I said, they all need work. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on all these, get them all working, and I've got 4 different reasons or use cases for doing that. And so I thought I'd share the plan and just kind of how I'm doing this. All right. So the first use case is that I'm going to be taking kids who normally wouldn't have the means out into the state parks, metro parks, different types of bike trails, mountain biking trails, and get them riding like out in nature, out in the beauty as opposed to just in the city and on concrete and all that. I think it's gonna be really good for them health wise, but also like spirituality wise and mentally and all that. Just a lot of good stuff comes from that, I believe. And so that's the main purpose of this organization and what we're doing. But we're also doing other things too. Um, the other use case is that the bikes that really aren't suitable for mountain biking and trail use, like this one's got the nice beefy tires, it's got a suspension that works. Um, it's going to be good for that type of situation. But there's others that are still in good shape, but maybe not really built for trail riding. And those bikes, I'm going to clean them up as good as I can, paint them even if necessary, replace as many parts as I have to, and get them really looking like brand new bikes as best as possible. And they're going to be donated during a bike drive for foster kids. They do it every year. I think like 5 years or something like that they've been doing this. And last year, they were able to get a lot of bikes for little kids, but some of the bigger kids didn't get bikes. And so I've got quite a few bikes that are really for like bigger kids or even adults. And so I think that'll be awesome if I can get them looking new and get them ready to donate to them so that the big kids can be sure to get bikes this year as well. So that's the second use case for the bikes. The third is that I'll also be teaching the kids how to fix bikes. So the bikes that really, you know, or maybe need a bit more work than they're worth or just kind of junk, we can just practice fixing on those. And if we can't fix them or if they end up getting broken worse or whatever, who cares? They're junk bikes anyway. So I think the ones that'll be good for educational purposes, we'll clean up, do what we can, and practice fixing them. And then the last case is that some of the kids don't know how to ride bikes yet. And balance bikes are a great way to learn how to ride. But balance bikes are normally really, really small for like tiny little baby kids. But some of these kids, even teenagers, if they never had a bike or maybe never had the space or opportunity to learn, they don't know how. You're not just born knowing how to do that. So converting something like this into a balance bike, it's a very good way to get them quickly comfortable on a bike and learning how to ride so they can participate in our events. So that's the 4 use cases. And then whatever's left will get just scrapped or whatever if they're just really not useful for anything. So that's the plan. Now, how am I organizing them and deciding them? It's a little bit arbitrary, but just kind of like what makes sense to me. But I do have some qualifications. It needs to be something that I think can actually work well on like gravel. So something with super skinny tires, it's not really going to work. Something that has good brakes, something ideally has some suspension, and something that has some beefier tires on it. That's pretty much all I'm basing it off of. So this bike, like I said, has all those things, but it needs quite a bit of work. Almost all the bikes just need a tune, just some oil, some grease, some cleaning them up, tightening things, adjusting things, fine. But some of them actually need additional parts. In this particular case, the pedal is completely stripped out. Look at that. You see that? It's like this is not gonna screw back in here. Like it just goes. I don't know what happened or how, but that's where this is like is at. So this part is pretty much all useless now and needs to be replaced. Not terribly expensive, especially on a entry-level bike like this, but it is fairly costly. Additionally, it just needs like some cables replaced. It's got pretty good components all around. The seat's in good shape. If you look here, something I'm doing is basically all the bikes that are 24 inches or bigger that have these grip shifters on there, I'm taking them off and upgrading them to either trigger or thumb style shifters. The grip shifters are good for people who have like poor dexterity. I think of people who like have arthritis or like really little kids who just may not have the dexterity to do like a trigger type of thing. But by the time you're big enough for a 24-inch bike, I think that's time where you need to start learning how to shift properly, like when to shift, how to shift, and the grip shifters just really aren't great at that point. So I'm going to upgrade all of them. We're also going to upgrade or replace the grips because see how that's ripped there? And that's actually a big safety risk. You always want to have a nice end cap there and some protection there because if you just got a metal opening, that's how you core yourself if you fall on that. So anyone, these guys that have messed up grips in any kind of way, I've got a big box of grips that I got super cheap. We're just replacing them on pretty much everything that needs it. Let's see. That's pretty much it for this one. It just needs some adjustments aside from that. And so I've got these Velcro tags that I've been using. And as you can see, this one has 2 on here, if you can see it. So the black I've been using just to number them all to keep them organized. So this one's number 4. And then the red, I have green, blue, red, and yellow. But they pretty much all are either red or yellow. So red meaning it needs like major components, additional to just like the basic stuff, the consumables that you would have to replace on a bike no matter what. Like any bike, if you ride it long enough, or just leave it outside long enough, or in your garage long enough, or whatever, eventually the tires are going to rot or get flats or whatever. You're going to have to replace tires. You're going to have to replace a chain. Cables need to be replaced. What else? Oh, brake pads. That sort of stuff you're always going to have to replace. So if I have a bike that only needs those things, and like maybe the hand grips, then that's just getting a yellow. So not a huge investment. All of those things I already have in bulk. I don't have to go to the store and buy anything else. I can just put those all on. It's already paid for. Done. Ones that need more than that, in this case it needs one of these guys, get a red. So because now I have to go source more parts. It's going to be extra expenses, extra labor, and so unfortunately it gets a red. That doesn't mean that it's going to go in the trash. It doesn't mean it's like no good, but it just needs more work. And so that's just kind of how I'm organizing things. If it gets a green, that means it is perfectly rideable, nothing actually wrong with it, but maybe it needs to be cleaned up. Maybe it could use some upgrades. Maybe something like blue means like good to go to give away or to use in our excursions or whatever. Like it's pristine, perfect, needs nothing. There are no blues so far. But we're working through them, get them all organized. I think that's it for now. That's the process. That's the why and the how and all that. We do have a website. So once I get it organized and figured out what it needs, I take a picture and I post it to the website with all the things it needs, the estimated cost, and then you, if you choose, if you like, you can go shopping and you can sponsor this bike. And if the parts, I believe on this one, I priced it out as I think $50. So for $50, we can get this bike looking like new, or at least riding really, 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 really well in like good shape. And so if you want to go to our website, link below, you can buy those $50 worth of parts and get this bike fixed. So isn't that awesome? We also have a GoFundMe going on. We've got a Facebook page. There's a lot of ways to kind of check out what we're doing. You can also subscribe to this channel, and I will be going through all the bikes. Maybe not all of them. I might not make a video on every single bike because that might be a lot. But I'll show you some of the bikes, what I'm doing to them, and give you some repair tips and tricks and all that. So hopefully interesting, hopefully educational. And once you get riding, you'll get some cool videos of like us riding through the trails and all that. So I think it'll be fun. Like and subscribe. Check us out on those other places. Links below. And I'll see you in the next video.